is now a little bit more, you know, prediction skills, because the Spanish team did play Vikings against the Netherlands, and they could have maybe expected something like that, but they didn't pick a single hero who could have played against it.
So, map-wise, where do you think Czech Republic should try and take Spain here?
I think Czech Republic need to pull out something a bit weird. I want to see them go to maybe Haunted Mines, maybe Black Hearts, maybe... I think Warhead's down, but possibly even Braxis.
Warhead and Black Hearts were the bans.
Okay, Mines or Braxis?
Kendrick?
I agree. I think Braxis is quite the nice choice because Vikings kind of meh on that battleground, let's face it. And I think the Spanish team is going to try to play a similar playstyle there with a strong laning phase. So now they have the evidence. Now they could learn from their lesson in the game one. So Braxis, I think, would be a good call.
And Braxis it is. Well done, guys. That is where we are heading for game number 2. Very nice map in terms of denying Viking pressure. Like you guys said, only 2 lanes here, so it's much harder to split stuff.
I think that was probably the main reason why they chose this battleground, potentially. I mean, if you can't deal with the Vikings, if you simply don't want to deal with the Vikings because your team communication, your synergy, your morale is going to suffer from it, you go to a different battleground.
At the same time, though, this is also one of the less figured out battlegrounds. It's not in HCC very often. It's very often banned by teams and nobody really picks it either. So this is definitely a team that Spain will have less practice on and are more vulnerable to the kind of off-meta strategies that I'd like to see Czech Republic run.
So what kind of off-meta strategy are you thinking? Is there anything that immediately jumps out?
I'm thinking Zarya, Oreo, Valor, personally. You know, maybe they can pull it back.
Old-fashioned indeed. We saw actually how, for Spain, the Ariel worked out well. It was not really pressured at all. The one time Sonya had a chance to spear it, she actually speared Zarya instead. So, yeah, that is not seeing it. There's so the potential for those off-meta picks. For Spain, more of the same, just minus Vikings, maybe?
I think... Yep, go for it.
I think Spain should feel very comfortable that they were the stronger team in Game 1 in terms of rule mechanics. Braxis is a map where if you do not lose the early game and get snowballed on, it's very easy to win with mechanics. So I'd like to see Spain stick to their guns, play a comp that they know has a strong lane phase and a strong team fight.
Absolutely. I don't want the Spanish team to commit any unnecessary risk. Go for solid heroes that work on Braxis, the Chromie, the Vala Oriel, Tassadar, maybe something along those lines. On the other hand, I want the Czech Republic to pull off something crazy. We've seen in HCC China multiple times how well a Sylvanas can work. Why not give it a shot? Because the chances of you winning in a standard game with a long laning phase are very minimal if you compare game number 1 to that.
A big chunk of the world record Heroes of the Storm games have been on this map and involved a Sylvanas. So we'll see if it does come into play here. For now, though, Spain are going to have the first ban.
First ban indeed, and I think if they have the first ban and first pick, they probably shouldn't ban the Tassadar, especially not if they want to pick it themselves. And I'm not sure if the Czech Republic has the player material to make, you know, a double support hyper carry comp work. So I wouldn't be worried about Tassadar in this very rare occasion.
Well, let's see if they do agree with you and potentially just let it go for the Czech Republic to ban, or whether they still value it a bit too much. Last time they banned Dahaka. This is another map where he can really dominate a top lane.
For sure. Not just the top lane, also the beacon phase.
Yeah,
like he can pop up anywhere.
Speaking of another hero who can pop up anywhere, Genji is the first ban.
Genji banned out, fantastic at roaming and fantastic at controlling the lanes, but also slightly cheesy, fantastic at controlling boss. Because Deflect works on individual instances of damage and the Archangel boss attacks so quickly, he can burst down the boss or indeed enemy heroes if he deflects the boss's attacks.
Very true. And also that menace that's just always a threat to the solo lane. Even a team like the Czech Republic, if they get a good Genji move in, if they continue to gank the top lane over and over again, they could really use that early game advantage and stall the early pressure from Team Spain.
And a reminder, guys, you can continue to vote for which team you think will win this series using the codes #ESWin for Team Spain or #CZWin for Team Czech Republic. Spain currently winning the vote quite severely, 69-31. The Czech Republic, though, still holding out a bastion of support here as Chromie is picked up for Spain.
So we saw Chromie yesterday in Finland versus the United Kingdom. Chromie definitely showed its strength in the early game, but as we got a bit later, we saw her weakness. They could not push and end the game, and Finland ended up making the dream comeback.
Yeah, I like the Morales here. Morales I think Brax's holdout is probably one of the strongest battlegrounds there is, simply due to the fact that there is a long extended laning phase. There's only so many angles you could get surprised from.
Yeah.
So, and the Genji, one of her greatest banes and nemesis out there, is no longer in the game.
As you say, and also the laning phase is sort of the entire game. On Brax's holdout, there's very few moments that take place outside of the lane, so Morales, with her infinite sustain, if she has enough time to regen her mana or gets good enough, her energy, or gets enough grenades to do it, she is perfect for this, and Stim Drone Greymane is absolutely tormenting my nightmares from when I've had to face it in the past.
At the same time, though, she is lacking a cleanse. And
Yes,
Komi,
she is.
especially on this map where you have to stand on the beacon and you have to be in lane, temporal loop, almost a free kill.
She does have a self-cleanse, sort of, if she wants to go for medevac, but that does remove that Stim Drone potential for the Greymane here. And also, you have to time it immediately, basically. Otherwise, the temporal loop will interrupt the casting animation.
Okay, depending on what the Czech Republic and the Spanish team bans here, I want to throw in a hero and make you think about it, guys. What do you think about a Cho'Gall for the Czech Republic?
Wow. That's a hero, right? I'm looking at it. I think it's a bit weird on Braxis. It has its issues because it doesn't have a huge amount of Zerg wave clear. And if you do end up losing that, then it can be really tough to recover when you did commit 2 bodies to that. At the same time, though, it is very scary in lane, and it does have a medic to back it up. So
And
that
no
might
Greymane
be
on the other side.
that might be the off-meta pick that they actually need to have a chance in this series.
Yeah, this is only, like I said, a 2-lane map, so the body soaking isn't as important, but it is just as bad if Cho'Gall has to port, due to the fact that you are missing 2 bodies in that bottom lane, which would be very likely where he would end up.
All right, we still need to see what Team Spain is going to get rid of. I'm pretty sure they're probably going to have at least one of their team members maybe mentioning the Cho'Gall, so maybe they're going to think about it, or at least they're going to prepare some more counter picks potentially. I mean, there's still an abundance to choose from. An Anub'arak, for example, a Tychus, Malthael would always be good in the soul lane too, if needed. They're actually considering a ban, okay.
Yeah. Oh, they ban out the Cho'Gall.
Okay.
Like Baker said at the beginning, for the same reasons as Genji, it's the off-meta potential cheese, and that's what Spain want to avoid. They feel confident to play straight up.
We saw
They're not
Poland do
street sniping.
this.
We can guarantee that.
We saw
Like,
Poland
hey,
do this
Escar's
as
got
well.
a good idea. So, Czech Republic, still need tank heroes, second support potentially. What are you thinking?
Second support, as Bakery said, with a cleanse option here could be a thing. I mean, there's something like an Uther potentially. The
Rhaegar still up.
Rhaegar, I was going to say, yep. Very true.
Probably the furthest Rhaegar has actually dropped down the pick phase throughout this entire tournament. Let's see if the Czech Republic want to pick him up, or whether he may be given over to Team Spain. Team Spain also have the potential for maybe an Uther. We've seen the great success of the Holy Cow in this tournament.
Oh, yeah.
And at the same time, Uther also a strong CC follow-up for ETC Dehaka, Chromie combo as well, being dropped on that.
No support picks yet. They go for their main tank in the form of Anub'arak and the strong solo laner to match up against the Haka in the form of Sonya.
We've seen this kind of approach in the previous series, haven't we? The Netherlands tried to send the exact same formation in the front line against the Chromie. Of course, it was a different set, it was a different player. Mana, probably one of the best in his department, but is it going to be enough here? I think, yes, it could be because of the battleground. Braxis is very open, especially if you choose a fight at one of the mercenary camps. You could come from 2 angles. It leaves a lot of possibilities open for the Anub'arak.
The forts very often do go down on Braxis, even if you're the winning team, just because their proximity to the center of the lane compared to where the keeps are, and because, of course, you do always get your own Zerg wave while the enemy gets theirs. That means it's very often much easier to flank, especially in the mid to late game, onto that Chromie.
The timer runs down for Team Spain. Final 2 picks for them. One of these, of course, has to be a support, as they do not have one yet. It is Rhaegar, and Falstad returns to the Nexus.
So this is the strategy that was originally innovated by Team Dignitas. You have double global, you have your Dehaka sat in top lane. When the bot lane pushes up from Czech Republic, then the Dehaka is going to burrow down, they're going to look for kills, And as soon as that fight ends, Falstad is going to fly to the top lane and ideally miss absolutely 0 XP and trade your global cooldowns.
70% of Twitch chat currently believes in Team Spain. Potential triple global available for them. I guess if you count bye-bye from one base to the other, it's sort of global, but not very effective for pushing or for capturing beacons.
No. The thing is, though, what does the Czech Republic do against that heavy global pressure? I mean, they say, okay, they go for
It's the perfect day for some mayhem, I think, guys. Junkrat locked in. I like the pick. We were talking about how we think they need something off meta. Definitely ETC's punishable, Veigar's punishable, Dehaka's punishable, even Chromie's punishable from maybe a VIP tire that can take it down from almost 50% HP, I think.
Falstad, not the highest health of assassins. He can, of course, escape if he's knocked back by the mine, but they have a Nubarak. They have that follow-up crowd control.
Also, what Team Czech Republic doesn't have to worry about for the most part is sustain. Junkrat doesn't require mana. Temeralis doesn't require mana, so if they can stall this fight out and wait until Rhaegar needs to pull back eventually, maybe the Chromie is running out of juice, they can really get some additional value down in the bottom lane.
So with the potentially less off-meta picks for Spain this time, as Spain were actually going for the Vikings in the last game, this time it's very standard stuff, except the Falstad has been not as popular so far, whereas this is Czech Republic with something a bit unusual, the second Junkrat we've seen. Who do you think's got it?
My vote's on Spain. Such a convincing game one. The players on that roster, we've spoken about them a lot, but you cannot understate them. And Czech Republic also seems to be struggling.
I want the Czech Republic to succeed. I would love to be proven wrong here, but I think Spain is going to do it.
So we have a lot of leading to Spain. I'm afraid I'm going to have to join them as we are heading into game number 2 of this matchup between Spain and the Czech Republic. And on the left-hand side, Kendrick.
Yeah, on the left-hand side, once again, we're being joined by Team España with Biju, Tharcom, Lucifron, and Mugilol, who's doing a wonderful job on that skin, and Fortix, last but not least.
Whereas on the right-hand side, trying to recover some points, it is the Czech Republic with Deathra playing on that Junkrat. Kenny on the Morales, Resbex on the Nubarak, and dual top laning, Threy and Zarganos.
Absolutely, and Threy and Zarganis, those guys are going to keep a 3-2 split.
Oh my god.
Can we disqualify a team for doing that, or a player?
Absolutely not. It is part of the skin, part of the game. As Mugilol continues to rotate around.
Yeah.
And like we said, it's currently a 5-man bot lane, and they're going to try and go for a quick kill before Dehaka rotates up the top lane. Bishu actually got his tunnels slightly interrupted there, but he's still able to tunnel the top lane.
All right, and that's the cool thing about Dehaka. You can go for a potential early first blood in basically a 5 versus 4 situation, only to brush Stalker to the opposite lane and make sure that you do not lose too much experience. Now, we're going to have Greymane and Sonya in the top lane pressuring it a little bit, but immediately the Czech Republic realizes, okay, we do not want to repeat the mistakes from last time, and we do not want to lose our structures as fast as last time. So let's get that Greymane over here.
Yeah, Greymane returns down to the bot lane, making top lane a 1 versus 1 lane once again. So Junkrat, we will be keeping an eye on his talents throughout this game, as once again, it's probably a lot of your time, a lot of you guys' first time seeing him.
Absolutely, and unfortunately he wasn't able to win yesterday when Team, who was it again? Played against Germany yesterday.
Versus
Hungary, exactly. Team Hungary tried to make him work. It looked a little bit funny, didn't it, with that concussion line being near Captain Blackheart 24/7.
You could potentially do a similar trick here on the beacon.
For
so
sure.
Keep an eye on that as we continue going. For now, he's starting off with the very standard talent for level 1 that puts some English on it.
Absolutely, and I think the zoning potential in the lane control, Zarganis and his boys, especially Deathrow on the Junkrat, are going to provide cannot be underestimated. As you said, you can block ways here by trapping or putting your steel trap in one of those bushes. You can put the concussion mine on the beacon as well. Let's see how it goes. Lucifer takes a lot of damage. Unfortunately, Rizmex didn't have the intel ready when it was needed.
Chromie is doing a great job in terms of direction, but not getting too lucky in terms of hits. She's already on 17 though, and even though she is missing the shots that you're seeing here,
Mugilol is
got
going top
earlier. Mugilol has in fact flowed to top lane. An attempt to get the gank, and they will pick up the kill.
They get the kill, and that is huge, and that is probably the oldest trick in the game you could possibly have. You have 2 globals. Well, guess what? At some point, the top lane is probably going to get a visitor. So what I really do not want to see by the Czech Republic again is the fact that they should let their solo laner get so reckless. The solo laner in particular, there's such an important role on Brax's holder in particular. You need to be aware of the fact that there could be a Falstad or a Dehaka coming at any given point.
Exactly. The joy of globals and even ETC in the later game. If he was to go for a stage dive, that's what makes globals so terrifying here.
Absolutely. And a team like Spain, man, they're executing this like it was nothing. Like it was just another day in the office.
I've been going on about Chromie a bit, but the point is, we talked about this yesterday. When she's in that 4-man lane, she gets so many stacks. Vortex hasn't been landing the majority of his shots. He's been burning through his mana so quickly, and as such, already is about a quarter of the way done. 17 stacks on his trait quest.
Yeah, there's a couple of heroes like that Chromie, as you said, Tetra, that really benefit from having an extended 4 versus 4 laning phase. Lose the front, however, he's not going to be benefiting from anything. He survives with a sliver of health, and Sargonis unfortunately didn't have another Gilnean cocktail ready to execute him, but that was almost as good as destroying ETC altogether. As you can see, he had to teleport all the way back. That means no warrior currently in the bottom lane.
Yeah, 72 health remaining at the end of that. And he is able to survive. However, warning here, there is the potential of what we were talking about earlier, the potential of the reverse counter-engage here.
Yeah, absolutely true. All right, Lucifron is back in the mix. Let's see if he's going to get caught like that again. Now, for now, the Czech Republic is doing a much better job at staying in reach, experience-wise, map control-wise, than they did in Game 1.
So, will we see Dehaka tunnel down like Falstad did up to him? We will have to wait and see. As Lucifron is holding the line, the mine is down there, so if he's not careful, he could be put out of position. Instead, he goes into that little alleyway up the top.
Absolutely true. Falstad once again going for another gank. We see the Sonya. Let's watch her health bar here as she is going to have to face 2 heroes once more. Looks good for now. And already I like that. I like the adaptation here coming in from the Sonya, you know, not falling victim to yet another gank, staying safe. That is exactly what they do. And all of a sudden, the tides have turned. Without Falstad, the bottom lane is significantly weakened for Team Spain. Yeah. And it is the Czech Republic who's turning on the heat.
And Falstad's probably got a long time left before his next fly, so he will have to either make some value up in the top lane. That's what he's going to try and do. 2-man push up here. They could even try and tunnel down with Dehaka. Tunnel is available for him.
Here we go, and Deathrow, man, look at how close he stands next to the ETC in the Rega. He doesn't care.
Very brave.
Yeah, he knows that Concussion Mine is going to be able to save him or just knock back the opponents at any given moment. We see taste for explosions, by the way, as we said, whereas we saw yesterday as well. The more targets he hits with the grenades, the more damage they're going to be able to stack up.
Yep. Up to 100 extra damage, 0.5 extra damage per hit. Redface gets chromied, as we do see the immediate retreat out of the rest of Czech Republic.
Absolutely wonderful prediction skills by, I think it was, yeah, it was Vortex. Never mind. It was
on that Kirby. As we do see the continued pushing potential onto that bottom lane. Both teams just trading towers back and forth. As right now, Greymane did rotate up to top lane, and that... Oh, bad snipe with Darkham. Good grenade. Killing off the sidewall. Can Deathrow get him? Yes, they can.
Deathrow, he's convincing me more and more on that Junkrat. That's exactly what we want to see. Those sneaky knockbacks. And if you don't pay attention to the projectiles, which admittedly are sometimes hard to see when you play against Junkrat, you're going to pay potentially with your life for it. Level 7, by the way, we see tricky shuffles for Junkrat, which means whenever he's got no grenades left, those are on cooldown, he's going to get a movement speed boost, which is really good against heroes like, let's say, the Falstad or Dehaka.
Yep, that extra movement is going to be huge. It won't, however, save him due to the lack of cleanse against Kroby, who has her heroic thanks to her trait. She has gone for Temper.
There we go. We mentioned the lack of cleanses here for Team Czech Republic. However, that is not always needed if you manage to basically pressure the Chromie while she's doing the combo.
Falstad focusing onto Kenny. Deathrow is on the run right now. Gets Bronze Talons. There's the vision. Dodges one. Bronze Talons not in range.
The dismount.
He gets demounted. Knocks himself away, but the chase continues. But they don't get him. Deathrow able to sneak away as the third spawn. That's so risky, but Bijou does not spot him.
Oh, that is It was a little bit risky. I think what he was afraid of was Dehaka maybe going in the bush
And like going ahead of him.
Exactly, going in the bush in front of him, thanks to the brush stalker. But sometimes you just need to out-mind game your opponents. And I think he did that on purpose because he was expecting the Spanish team to go bottom again and defend against the Zerg wave by the Czech Republic.
That's what is happening in Spain, defending against the Zerg wave.
Nice.
Whereas, currently, the Spanish Zerg wave has already died. We're seeing counter pressure coming out in the top lane from the Czech Republic.
And I love, like, the more I see of this draft coming in from the Czech Republic, the more I'm starting to love it. They picked such a solid early game. They have a couple of very safe heroes, like the Morales, for example, the Anubarak, the Sonya. It's really much harder for the Spanish team to get an early game snowball like that.
So we have Tunnel back for Dehaka here, so he can rejoin his team when he needs to now, as he did have to run up to the top lane, as we saw there. He could have actually maybe just gone through that bush to get the speed boost. That would have been a disaster for Junkrat, but it did not happen.
It did not happen, so we don't want to talk about it anymore. Sometimes, you know, the risky plays get rewarded, and rightfully so. Now, level 10 abilities have arrived. Here are our heroic abilities. The Falstad Mighty Gust, no surprise here. Temporal Loop, Mosh Pit. On the other hand, Tetcher, look at that level 10 for Junkrat.
It's the Riptire again. 2 times now we've seen Riptire, 0 times we have seen the Rocket Ride. So
Which by many pro players and experts is considered to be the superior choice, actually.
But right now, Riptire is definitely dominating a 2 out of 2 pick rate. And it does help here due to the fact it has the knockback, making it an additional interrupt for Mosh Pit, Kendrick.
Very true. You can interrupt the Mosh Pit if you land it on top of ETC, but most importantly, I think the Riptire adds a strong zoning damage component for those beacon fights, potentially. If Junkrat positions himself in a way that he can interrupt it, then he can drop that massive threat that Team Spain cannot ignore.
Junkrat raining damage out onto the remaining Spanish members, as once again, the Czech Republic, they're a tiny bit behind in XP, but structure-wise, they are significantly winning.
I was going to say, I think they're actually ahead in terms of overall map progress.
Yeah.
So, much stronger showing, and I'm really happy to see how they chose this battleground. They had a plan. They were willing to commit some risk like Junkrat and Morales picks, but hey, so far it pays dividends.
However, with the fact that they didn't get a fort with that first Zerg wave, all that's happened here is Spain are getting stronger. Progrock is finished. Falstad has more stacks on Seasoned Marksman, and Chromie just finished her Sandblast trait.
Yeah, there we go. So the Sand Echoes are now going to be deployed, which means more single target burst damage, and that cannot be underestimated, especially with the Temporal Loop. Now you have another ability that could really blow you off your socks.
Blow you off your socks? Not even out of them,
even
off them. They just get destroyed and ripped from your body. As we see Respex fighting ETC, there's the Mosh Pit, get interrupted straight away. Here comes the Dire, and that knocks people away from Kenny, but Kenny gets hit by the clone.
Yeah, that was exactly what we were talking about earlier, the Temporal Loop now on Junkrat, and he gets demolished.
He stands in the Junkrat tray as he goes down. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of Spain, though.
I mean, we talked about Mugilol, who was able to gather a lot of competitive experience in other games, but Overwatch was clearly not one of them. Otherwise, he would have known not to walk on a dead Junkrat.
Yeah, that's how Junkrat picked up that kill. They will be respawning very soon, as we will see Bijou picking up this second beacon for his team as the progress begins for Team Spain.
Look at that feisty Beetle there fighting the Hellbats with...
Guys, I got this. Sandblast coming in, getting some crazy value out of this Nerubian armor as a Anubarak.
Yeah, definitely true. All right, so now we see the Anubarak trying to hold the ground here. Takes so much damage, though. The Bronze Talons and the hard-hitting auto attacks by ETC. That is all something that the Beetle has to worry about.
We actually saw there a little bit as Anub fled from the potential beacon here. The shared exoskeleton talent, he went for on level 4, did a little bit of extra movement speed. Good for engaging and disengaging.
Yeah, the moment that Sand Echo got available for Vortex, we see him play much more aggressively.
Yep.
He knows how to position himself right now. You want to get as close to the enemy team as possible, so your Sand Echo is going to be close to them as well.
Oh,
there goes the Temple Dude.
He drops the... Oh, nice! He ends up getting silenced, though. The isolation. Drag used on the Nubrak. Not the best target here, who drops the Cocoon to the backline onto the Chromie, and that will kind of stunt this push, but it's still going. Sorry, that was not Chromie, that was on Falstad, as the Stim Drone is dropped here on the Greymane as they continue to push forward, and they get the Dahaka here.
Yeah, the Stim Drone Greymane is the deadliest one, and he just basically made sure that Team Spain did not have a good time. The Globals are here, though. Falstad trying to stop the progress on the Zerg meter with one of his flights there, but the Sonya flank was so good. Vortex immediately took so much damage, 90% of his total health, and only a quick Moogie Lol Mighty Gust could save anything worse.
We just saw Deathra fly
almost
across
over the
your
entire map.
screen thanks to the Ripper Air at level 13, giving him an extra 50% knockback if only he is hit by the Grade, and the reduced cooldown. If only is it, Resbeck having used that separated armor to give him a chance to escape. The armor also being delivered by the Morales here, as the silence dropped onto a noob. No cleanse available, remember, but the silence does expire without too much being done.
Absolutely, and we're now going to have to wait for Junkrat. The Riptire is going to be back in 2, 1, and right now it could be used. I'm not sure if the Spanish team is aware of it. So far, we're going to have to highlight and celebrate Kenny a little bit as well. He's doing a wonderful job on Mommy Morales to keep all children alive for the most part.
Here comes the rewind. The
jumps over the wall,
but Thray is not finished off. Wait for it.
Got him!
Got him! Finishes off the Dahaka. Just starts driving around him, waiting as Dahaka goes down, and this Junkrat is really convincing me, Kendrick.
And that was amazing. He jumped, like he leaped over the wall with the Riptire. Then he basically jumped over Chromie as well, covering additional ground. And that was so well played. And let's be fair here, as good as Rocket Ride is, I don't think he could have pulled it off without it. Because the Riptire allows you to time your damage a lot more precisely. It has a much longer duration. The Rocket Ride, you're going to always have to do something because there's only so much of a counter you have.
Exactly, and against that burrow from Dahaka or against the timeout from Chromie, there's a good chance you're going to get outplayed with Rocket Ride. Whereas the Tire, if you're a little bit patient and they don't kill it off in time, you can get some crazy value.
Yeah, such a good point, Tetcher. I'm loving it. All right. The Czech Republic, they took a lead. All this wonkiness, all the chaos that Junkrat brings to the table seems to have really thrown the Spanish team off guard. They do, however, have that team fight momentum if everything goes well. But I'm not sure. Maybe Mugilol should actually try to go for a more aggressive play sometimes in the Falstaff. We all remember the cool plays when the Falstaff flies behind the enemy team because everybody inside. And especially for the Morales or the Junkrat even, that could be a disaster.
It really could. Junkrat has an escape potential. Morales most certainly does not. Bijou! Oh, Cocoon. That's a big cooldown to burn, but it's going to be a very satisfying kill.
Worth it. Sonya dies in the progress, though. It's going to... Oh, no.
Wait for it. There we go. It took long enough as Dahaka goes down. In the meantime, Junkrat, but we are seeing the rest of the Czech Republic lose that top lane fort, but they are still able to continue to siege onto the members of Team Spain.
And let's face it, that was actually worth it for the Spanish team. I mean, Bijou kept everyone busy there in the bottom lane for such a long period of time that they could get a return kill on the Sonya. And not just that, they got the fort, they destroyed a couple of more structures, and now they're almost 16 as well to fight on even terms again.
So Junkrat going for some nice AoE damage, right?
Yeah,
even
look at those.
Oh my god, the spread volley raining death over a large area, and Stim Drone not getting much value here, just going to end up being used for wave clear thanks to the disengage of Team Spain.
Yeah, now of course that activatable ability has a longer cooldown. Actually, he won't be able to use it anytime soon, so that's something to be on a lookout for. Like when Team Spain sees that Junkrat just used most of his cooldowns, I think that is the moment for them to go in. It's very easy to counter too, because unlike other heroes, Junkrat's abilities are very flashy and easy to track.
Yeah, considering a lot of the time they seem to cover almost the entire screen with orange as those grenades rain onto you.
Exactly. 30 seconds to be exact, by the way, is the cooldown on spread bomb.
Yep, bombs raid over the area here, as we do see the Czech Republic finally able to take control of both weapons. Spain have been on 74% for a significant amount of time right now.
But now it's the Czech Republic channeling, and they have already unlocked a couple of those waves in the past. So if you take a look at the structures overall, the left-hand side, the blue team has been suffering a lot more. Falstad, though, flying up, securing the beacon once more, very solid.
So Falstad ditching his team there, like you said, to get that top beacon to neutralize out of it. But 80... Oh, actually, they're going to get both. They're really...
Zargonas.
Yeah, it is cancelled as they get top back by Greybane. Very little that can be done about that. It was a really solid engage by Bijou.
He probably would have survived if there had been any other hero other than Chromie. Like, she was there. The range on Temporal Loop is so good. And look at that counter push, the wave clear, the zoning potential by that beautiful spread volley.
But now he needs to wait for his grenades to come back. Now they are all back. He is able to re-siege it again. As we do see Czech Republic, these mercenaries will also help them depush. In the meantime, though, Falstad has basically just guaranteed his team the Zerg wave. Yeah,
very true. Spain is channeling up, but the Czech Republic got 88% after all, so it's by no means a wasted turnover. And the mercenary camp, the top lane is still pushing. Falstad didn't have enough time to really take care of that. And the Zerg wave is going to spawn there as well. They're going to have to send at least 1 or 2 people to defend that. Team Spain, that is.
Yeah, they're sending Falstad and Dahaka, 2 globals. Dahaka already has his burrow, so he can rejoin his team. Falstad, I believe, also has Fly. So they will be able to rejoin their team as soon as possible.
Absolutely, and that's what they need to do. The Zerg waves are dropping relatively low. Junkrat and Greymane, solid wave clear, and now it's for the Czech Republic to hold this onslaught. The minions actually stalling and freezing the Zergs a little bit more. That's quite unfortunate.
Zerg in the top lane, as you can see here. Dahaka still clearing those up as best he can. Those Guardians, though, continuing to siege from range as bot lane is under pressure.
It is indeed under pressure. Dahaka is not yet with his teammates, though Falstad is, however. So how hard does Spain want to commit to this?
Continuing to slowly move forward. Junkrat sending in as many grenades as possible, just doing any kind of siege damage he can to try and remove out these Zerg waves. So far, the keep is literally completely undamaged. Actually, no, it has taken 1 hit.
Yeah, it's not really a whole lot, but Anubrak, he smells the cake. He wants to go in. Dahaka is still nowhere to be found. The cleanse is going to lose the front. However, is it going to be enough, Tetcher?
Grenades doing some serious damage, but the disengage. The Czech Republic can't chase down Team Spain.
They can for now. Vortex doing such a good job, always dropping those slowing stands to really cripple, the temporal loop to really cripple the advance. Here comes a knockback.
The Tire chasing Mugello, but he barrel rolled it. He took the damage still, though, so at least it's something. As Junkrat arrives, Stim Drone is used on Greybane. He wants to disengage, though, at least a little bit. Kenny gets destroyed. Already, Anubrak is down. Thray is trying to delay. Falstad flying ahead of Zargon. And then Zargon will get taken out as well. Ancestral to keep Falstad alive. Actually, Zargon might escape thanks to the disengage.
Yeah, he may be able to save his life, Zargonas. However, we can't say the same about the keep. And I'm not sure. The Czech team looked very unorganized in that team fight. It was Morales who was caught in the temporal loop, but I think Greymane actually thought he was the one trapped inside because the moment Morales was trapped, he stopped engaging, he stopped pressuring the team. So it was the easiest thing in the world for the Spanish team to execute the main hero of Czech Republic.
Yeah, he wrapped around with that after that stim drone. You jumped in and then immediately jumped out. Morales went down as the core is dropping full health members from Team Spain, 5 members alive to 0. And we will see Spain take game number 2 and the series.
But we cannot forget about the fact that the Czech Republic, they showed signs of life. They chose the battleground, they chose the battlefield they wanted to fight on, and you could really see how much more comfortable they felt. The Junkrat causing so much confusion and wreaking so much havoc in the laning phase, kept them in the game, and made them look for a large portion of the game.
Yeah, the Junkrat itself seemed very effective. What did you? Are you a believer, Bakery?
I am a believer. I think Junkrat was the crux of most of the Czech Republic's competitiveness in that game. They were legitimately looking like an even level team for the large majority of that, despite, I would say, most likely getting outdrafted.
Well, Bakery, can you show us some gospel from the Church of Mayhem?
I can. So, our first replay here is going to be a fight at the Easy Camp. I believe. So as we get into it, we see the Anub instantly walks in. He's taking this. Now look at Lucifer. So he's going to slide past. He's going to instantly get a mosh pit. But look at Kenny. Instant grenade to interrupt. But Dahaka is already there. Gust is already there. Medic goes down almost immediately. The rest of her team is actually going to survive though. So now we look at RZMX. He cocoons out onto there, but the loop still comes out. So Deather, he actually makes a really interesting play here where he decides, okay, I'm actually gonna die. He runs very slightly back in, and look at Falstad out of nowhere getting one shot by his passive. Deather definitely making the correct call to turn back into that tongue.
Yep, very nicely done, picking up the kill onto Falstad, that total mayhem trait. Just like it is in Overwatch, if you forget about it, you really regret it.
Yeah. Bakery, I want to ask you about the Riptire. Did it convince you this time? It did get a couple of kills and really good damage done overall.
Yeah, so my second replay actually, the Riptire was performing all game, but this one fight, it doesn't do enough, and they lose the game from it. So, it starts off, Lucifon tries to engage onto Sonya. The Riptire comes out. It's got so much pressure on Chromie and Falstad, but he explodes it too early. It does not enough damage. Now look at Vortex this entire time. He's been looking at Medics. He's already isolated, and this is going to be Medic getting just one shot. Just one shot. Mosh Pit comes out after a good interrupt by Faye on the Sonya, but that is not enough. As soon as Medic gets one shot like that, I feel like it's just, it's Spain's fight to win, basically. And Gusting behind as well, getting the kill onto Greymane. The big story there was how Mugilo managed to bait out that tire by basically like running away, running back into it, and predicting Junkrat's going to try and explode it and eating away, taking way less damage than he should have, and basically winning the fight for his team there.
Yeah, it looked a little bit weird how Stimdrone Greymane basically lost all confidence and started running away, because oftentimes when a temper loop goes down, the best way to shut down the follow-up damage is to pressure the Chromie so she can't even use her abilities, but that was just a tiny minor thing here, so...
Vortex's positioning was so good,
yeah,
all the way on that left,
was the bigger aspect.
There was no way you could engage onto the Chromie after the loop, onto the backline Medic.
It was very nicely executed, and the hope for Spain to make it out of this group is still alive. Now let's have a quick look at the schedule, because we still have 2 more series to show you for today. Our next one after this break will be Sweden versus Ukraine, and we will be ending out the day with Russia versus Portugal. Now, be sure to not go anywhere, because Sweden versus Ukraine should be a bonza game, to quote Junkrat. Be sure to join us after this break.
King has fallen. A father. A friend. A warrior. Defender of the Alliance. He was a beacon of hope. A leader without measure. A man who would never accept defeat. He was our shield against the storm. Wherever he has gone, Varian Rin will remain a hero. Always.
My father once told me that peace was like a dream. Beautiful, ephemeral, unattainable. I didn't listen. No one listened. We've made kindling from our suffering, stirred the embers of resentment, just waiting for a single spark to set the whole world aflame. As the Alliance returns to forgotten kingdoms, the Horde seeks the might of an ancient empire. Cannot dream any longer. The time has come to call on allies willing to join the fight, to rally beneath the banners of a world at war.